Hi everyone, Chris here. Welcome. Today we're going to actually work on some practicing. I have a nice, I just purchased this online. It's a Shorebird, wooden Shorebird, and it's been painted. And this is a really fantastic wooden carving. So I'm going to practice on this. I'm going to set this up across from me on a just on a foam backboard, an L-shaped foam backboard. And you probably see often that I take two pieces of foam board and I just basically tape it together like this, except it's a little larger. This would be a smaller scale of the foam board. So two pieces of foam board, and then I tape it together with artist tape or duct tape, or I like to use artist tape because it's white, so it kind of blends in nicely with the white foam board. So I put this up on on my table, my art table across from me over here to the right, and then I'll set up my Shorebird there, and maybe also I'll use a wine bottle. So I have an interesting wine bottle here. It's like a yellowish gold color, kind of a nice, more transparent looking bottle, which is kind of nice, and it's got a simple label on it, and we'll use that too as well. And I made just a simple stand to set the Shorebird on with some sponge here. I have to maybe I'll make a base for it, like a wooden base or something for it eventually, but for right now I'll just use this. This seems to work pretty good. So yeah, that's okay, that works all right. Alright, so we'll use this. And we'll set that across from us here in the studio. And the bottle will set across too as well. And then nothing, nothing too fancy here. We have just a regular setup of some fresh water, a damp sponge, and our palette, travel palette, and just a mechanical pencil, number 5. So I'm using a smaller pencil today. Usually I use like a 9 or a 7. I have this one handy, so I'll use this. This is a 5.5. And what else do we have here? A Kolinsky Sable round brush, and I'll use a couple different sizes, maybe like an 8 and a 10, or a 6 and an 8, and then that's about it. So we have we'll start with a contour drawing. I draw out a little border here just so I kind of have an idea of course, where I'm working with on my video here. I have to make sure I'm okay, so that looks good. The boundaries here. So I just make a rectangle, and then we'll just I'll look across from me and just contour draw the Shorebird in the bottle. Okay, that's Shorebird, and then we'll do the bottle next to it. I'm not too worried about this might not be perfect scale here. So I'm making the bottle smaller so that we can fit it into the picture here, and then I'll draw the shadow. There's a shadow here too as well. Okay, so and this is just we're just doing some exercises here, some practice, and we'll do the painting now, and we'll keep in mind we're looking to get lots of variation here with our painting. So sometimes variation with our washes tends to be a challenge for some people. I definitely understand that too, especially when people when they're first starting watercolors. It's kind of just watercolor painting seems to be a lot of just fundamentals. Like if you practice certain things over and over all the time, you'll tend to paint like that. Whereas if no one tells you, like if you're not being like taught or taking classes with someone or being taught or studying books and DVDs and all that, and if you're just like working on your own and not maybe, let's say, following along with someone else that's already been doing it for a while, it's easy to kind of fall into habits where like we might just use less color and just kind of make the bottle one color and then make the bird another color, But here on my channel, I know everyone that follows me, we always talk about variation with color, so we'll just definitely have that idea here. So we'll and of course, when I look over at the bottle, it is more of just like a gold color, but we'll try to stretch the idea of the color a little bit, make it more interesting. So you can see I'm kind of putting all different colors here. So that's cerulean blue and yellow ochre and then olive green. So we'll try to I'll try to leave some light on the bottle here. I'll pretend there's some things in the background here just leaning up against the foam board. Now I'll do some French ultramarine here. And then we'll do some more yellow ochre. And some cerulean. And I'll leave some more, we'll do some cobalt blue. You'll notice I'm going straight into the palette. I'm not even really mixing much on the palette. Cobalt blue. cerulean blue, just for a little shadow color. I'll go with a little burnt umber and raw sienna. Again, I'll leave some more, some whites of the paper just for highlights. You might hear some construction in the background. That's some roofing. A roofing company is roofing my neighbor's roof. So they're out working today on a Saturday. And so here I'm thinking of just adding some color here and there, and that's a couple splashes. And never worry if you have something that doesn't, if a little bit of water leaks into an area, it's not a problem at all. We just lift it up with some tissue. And we can and some lighter tonal values here. Okay, so now that I have this pretty good, pretty solid, I'm going to let that be for right now, because if I do too much more, it might disturb the washes. The washes look good there. The colors are mixing and mingling nice. And maybe we'll work over here on our Shorebird. So I'll take some burnt sienna, French ultramarine blue. It's kind of a darker value for the and I'll try to mix the color, make some variation too in the color of the Shorebird here. And let's remember, if you're working in a section where you see there's a lot of water and paint mixing around, it's always a good idea maybe, you know, to sometimes just let that section dry a little bit for your benefit, so that it doesn't get out of control. And if things do, I guess, again, if any issues do come up, you can always just dab with a little bit of tissue occasionally. And some French ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, maybe a little cadmium red. And a little cobalt blue for the shadowing. Some raw sienna. And a little more shadow over here. So you can have fun and get creative and add some different colors here and there. And so this is great fun, great practice. You just take a couple items. You know, here again we just use a nice Shorebird that I purchased online. It's a wood carving and it's painted, and it's on a wood dowel. And then I just set it up across from me, as well as a wine bottle, a nice wine bottle with a simple label, and that's all we really needed here. And to just do a nice exercise, and then we're practicing getting lots of variation of color, tonal values. Let's do a little more. Maybe we'll just I'll get some really dark, and we'll just do some calligraphy here. And we can always add a little extra colors if we want, just to make it a little interesting here. So we'll add some red to the label. And there's some and a little bit of darker tonal values if you want to add in some darker darks there, just to and a couple more splashes maybe, just to make some interesting marks on the paper. Alright, so that's some fun practice. I hope you'll try this. You can always take pictures online of this scene here from my painting, and practice from this painting, or there's other pictures you can look up online too as well of shorebirds. You just type in shorebird online in Google and you'll see all kinds of pictures. So you can use pictures, print them out, and then you tape them up on your studio wall, and you can have fun and practice up on doing some really good focusing in on the variation of color, tonal values, getting in some nice dark shadows here, tying it in with the rest of the subject matter. And this is just great practice. This will always translate into your finished paintings if you're going to tackle some larger paintings. These smaller compositions always will be your practice go-to time. And then once you're used to kind of practicing all the fundamentals in a smaller format like this, then we can just translate it right into a larger painting, let's say a finished painting. If you're wanting to do something for a gallery showing, or you're going to do some charity work and give your paintings away and whatever, what you practice on your small columns, you just actually enlarge it into a larger painting if you want to go with larger scale paintings. Or if you want to keep your paintings in a smaller format, then you're just going to be, again, just using the same idea and just translating this into a finished painting by maybe, adding a few more details and so forth. All right, have fun, keep practicing, and we'll see you soon.